recorded the first one, but I erased it so it would all be on one recording. So, of course, the slope is, as always, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Who decides which is which? You do. I'm going to make that one y2. Actually, I lie. The way I did it before I did that. So I'm going to change it. I'm going to make this one x2, and this one y2, and this one x1, and this one y2. So I get, or y1. So I end up with 0 minus 2 over 3 minus 4, which is negative 2.
Wow.
Which is negative 2 over positive 7, which means that is my slope. Now, each question is going to be worth 2 marks, or this question is going to be worth 2 marks. 1 for remembering that, and 1 for doing it right, because you had to do a minus. So you had to remember that became plus. Aight? You give yourself a mark out of 2, depending on how well you think you did. Slope-intercept form. What is slope-intercept form? Josh? Kinda. It's y equals mx plus b, and you often end up with a fraction. How does that look different from that? That has 2y. It does not have 1y. So what must you do? 2y equals 3x minus 4. Divide everything by 2. Y equals 3 over 2x minus 2. You get 1 mark for that. And then I told you to graph it. Where do you go to graph this? Y equals negative 2, because that's the y-intercept. And then up 1, 2, 3, and don't say over. Right 2. What should you do as well, just to make sure? Down 3 and left 2. And then you make your line. Then you get 1 mark for that, making that out of 2. Down 3, left 2, up 3, right 2. Gouda? Nice job, Tavleen. You know, it's not that surprising. You were taught to do it right, like many times. Well, then we're making progress, aren't we? X and Y intercepts. Since I want X and Y intercepts, what is the every single X intercept in the whole universe? X, comma, 0. What is every single Y intercept in the whole universe? 0, comma, Y. X, 0. That is a Y value, yes? Which means what? Where do I put that 0 over here? In the Y space. What is 3 times 0? 0. So I get 6x plus 12 equals 0. What do I do with the x here? Put it in for x. So I get 3y plus 12 equals 0. Whenever you see this, what's your job? Get the letter by itself, right? So this one is 6x equals negative 12, because you move that over. And x equals what? Negative 2. And this one, 3y equals negative 12. So y equals negative 4. You get 2 marks for the intercepts, because you had to do something twice. You put a dot at negative 2, a dot at negative 4, and you connect them to get your 3rd mark, making that out of 3. Any questiones? Huh? I'll give you full marks on assignment. I will not on the test, because of course this is continuous data, isn't it?
What if you figured out the slope and then added more dollars?
I have a question.
Great.
So for each x and y, are you, because like did the 6x and you looked up the y.
Yep.
So did you just switch it?
Because when I was doing the x, the y value was 0. So 3 times 0 is 0. So it's really 6 plus 0 plus 12. So when I'm looking for the x-intercept, I know the y value is 0, so I can throw it away.
Okay.
And when I'm looking for the y-intercept, I know the x value is 0, so I can just throw it away.
Okay.
And last one, find this slope. What do I know about every slope? It's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? Who chooses what x1 and y1s are? You do. So what do I want to make that guy? Well, we can't make him y1 because he's an x value. You're going to make him x2? Okay. Which makes this guy what? y2. Which makes this guy x1 and makes this guy y1. So, what's the slope? Negative 5 over 4. So, I have negative 5 over 4 equals y2. What's y2? 1 minus y1. What's y1? Y over. What's x2? Negative 3 minus 5. Now I tidy that up. Negative 5 over 4 equals 1 minus y over negative 8. Now what? Cross multiply. What's negative 8 times negative 5? 40 equals. What's 4 times 1? 4 minus what's 4 times y? 4y. What do I do with that 4? Minus 4, where else? On the 40. 36 equals negative 4y. Now what? Divide by negative 4. And y equals negative 9. That's going to have to be worth 3 marks. Because you had to remember what slope was, then you had to fill in the formula right, then you had to do algebra. Making this assignment out of 3 and 3 is 6, and 4 is out of 10. Did I take your scores for the quiz? Yesterday. I don't think I wrote them down. No. So I have to do that. But I was expecting to mark this in the first 5 or 10 minutes of class, and it's already 1:30. I had a lesson I wanted to do today. So we'll wait until Monday to record these marks. If everybody could turn to page 191, please. Today's lesson is extraordinarily simple as long as you recognize one thing. If you can all learn one thing today, you're going to have no problem. Let's start. Everybody, every single person in the room, put these 4 points on this graph. Sorry, I just fell asleep in my own head. Sorry. I just sitting here. Oh, wait, I need to keep writing. So, the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool? Make the line. Right? Everybody good? Okay. Now the next one was at 1, 2, 3, 0, and the fourth one is 6, 2. Yep, connect it. All right. Everybody cool? Everybody has 2 lines on the graph, right? Okay. What is this guy's slope? How would I find it? Up. How far did I go? 4. And that way, how far? 6. So what's his slope? 4 over 6. Would we ever write it that way? What is it really? 2/3. Agreed? What is this guy's slope? How far up did I go? 2. How far that way did I go? 3. What's his slope? 2/3. Everybody cool? Now, if this guy is going up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3, and this guy is doing the same thing, up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3, what's going to happen, or a better question, is what isn't going to happen with those 2 lines? They are never going to meet, are they? What is the definition of 2 lines that never meet? They're parallel. So now you should be able to tell me, if there are 2 parallel lines, what do you know about their slopes? Slopes are going to be equal. Now reverse that. If you have 2 equal slopes, what do you automatically know about the lines? That they're parallel. Everybody good? That's the easy one. Everybody cool? All right. Now, to do the next one, perpendicular lines, we need to use 2 sets of lines. Okay? Everybody cool? All right. First of all, does everybody know what the word perpendicular means? Not quite. Anytime things cross at a 90-degree angle, it's perpendicular. Doesn't matter where that's turned, as long as the angle between this hand and this hand is 90, they're perpendicular. Everybody cool? Okay, so we're going to have to do 2 sets of lines to do this. In the first one, I want you to put a line, or I want you to put points at -6, 3, and -1, 3. Put those on the dot on the graph first. And there we go. Now, tell me that slope, and you're not allowed to say 0. I need it as rise over run. So what is the slope of line 1, the black line?
0 over...
No. 0 over 5. Right? Because I ran 5. Is everybody cool with that? Okay. So now I'm going to do line 2. Line 2, I want you to do from -4, 0 to -4, 5. What is the red line as rise over run? No, that's what it's an undefined slope, but I want it written as rise over run. 5 over 0. Now, do you guys all agree that this vertical line and this horizontal line are meeting at 90 degrees? Excellent. What do you see about the 2 slopes? Not opposite. There's a word for that in math. Reciprocal. Okay? So, perpendicular must at least mean reciprocal slopes. Right? Now, I told you I needed to do 2 sets of lines here. So there must be a second part to this definition, yes? Everybody cool? All right. So let's do that. I'm going to put a dot. I want you to put a dot at 3, 4. At x3, y4, and another one at 8, 0. Everybody cool? Oh, yeah. Connect it. Sorry, connect it. Everybody's good? Yeah? Did I do that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 4. Yep. And yep. So then I want you to put one at, I gotta change color again. That's gonna be line 3. And line 4 is gonna be at 0, -5. And 4, 0. And connect them and carry them through. Now, if you had a protractor and you lay it on here, you would see you would see that this was 90 degrees. Everybody cool? Okay. What is the slope of line 3? Rise over run, right? So from here I went up 1, 2, 3, 4, and I ran -5, right? So the slope of line 3 is -4/5. Everyone cool? Okay. What's the slope of line 4? Check rise over run. From here I went up 5 and I ran 4, correct? Positive 5/4. Now, what do you notice? We already knew they'd have to reciprocate, but what else happened? It negative. So not only are there reciprocal slopes, one is positive and the other is negative. Does everybody see? So if you know a slope, the perpendicular line, you would flip the slope and change the sign. Does everybody understand? All right, let's see if you really do. Let's write that out first. Parallel lines have the same slope in every form, yes? 2/3, 4/6, 8/12, it's all the same slope, right? And this is how we write it. Line 1 parallel to line 2. And what does that mean? That means M slope of line 1 equals the slope of line 2. And that works both ways. If you have equal slopes, you have a parallel line. If you have parallel lines, you have equal slopes. See you later, man. Have a good weekend. Everybody cool? All right. Now, what do perpendicular lines have? Opposite reciprocal. So that looks like this. Line 1, this is the symbol for perpendicular. If line 1 is perpendicular to line 2, then the slope of line 1 equals -1 over the slope of line 2. Because you flip it and you change the sign. And remember, the slope of line 1 is technically over 1, right? Everybody cool? If you don't understand this, but you can remember, flip it and change the sign, you're okay. Is everybody good?
Which sign are we supposed to change? Like the top and the bottom?
Doesn't matter. One's positive, the other's negative. And the negative sign can be on the top, the bottom, or right in the middle. It just can't be in both. So, let's see if you at least understand what to do. I have a slope of 2/3. Positive 2, positive 3. What's the perpendicular slope? Negative 3 over 2. That one's negative, and I flip the fraction. Everybody got it? Okay. This one is negative 7. What is it really? Negative 7 over 1. So what would perpendicular be? Positive 1 over 7. Because I flip it and I change the sign. This slope is parallel, is 4. What's parallel to it? 4. Now give me two other slopes that equal 4. 8 over 2. 16 over 4. Does everybody understand? What about this one? Is this one right? That's what this symbol means. Question equals. Is this equal? 10 over 2.5. Is that okay? If you don't know how to divide that in your head, maybe you should check with the calculator. So is that 4? So is it still okay? Yes. Everybody got it? As long as it makes 4, they're all parallel. Everybody good? Okay. Next one. That guy and perpendicular. What is he? 11 over 5. You've changed the sign and you've flipped the fraction.
So, like, if it has a negative, then you can just get rid of the negative and that's changing the sign. But if they're both positive, then you have to put a negative.
Yep.
Sweet.
Okay. If my slope is 0, is that flat or up and down? That's flat. Then what's the perpendicular slope? Negative 1 over 0, which is? No. 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 Undefined. And if I start undefined, then what's perpendicular to that? 0. Is everybody good? All right, let's put it into practice, shall we? The question asks you to tell me, is ST parallel to AT, AB? Is ST perpendicular to AB? Or is ST nothing to AB? What is the measurement that tells me parallel, perpendicular, or nothing? What is it that I need to compare? The slopes. Now I want to stop you for a second. How many times and in how many different ways have we used slope this year? A buttload, haven't we? How important do you think it is to the rest of your math career? Damn important. How many of you are doing physics right now in science? How many of you are in science right now? And you haven't done any physics yet? You're about to? Guess what? Buttloads of slope. How many of you ever in your life feel you might need to read a graph? Slope tells you how much things are changing on a graph, aren't they? Is it handy to know how to deal with slope? Yeah. When in doubt, find some slope. All right, so here we go. If they're parallel, then the slope of ST is what to the slope of AB? Equal. If they're perpendicular, then the slope of ST must equal -1 over the slope of AB. And if they're neither, then the slope of ST will have nothing in common with the slope of AB. So what must we do right now?
And equal.
I better find some slopes, right? What is the slope of AB? No, guys. AB. You're all doing ST. I chose AB on purpose to see if you would read the question. Where's A and B? I am tricky today because it's Friday and I want to make sure that you're thinking. What is the slope of AB? 1 minus 1. Write it out so you can't do it wrong. What's this one? 1 minus 5. Now tidy it up. What's 1 minus 1? 2. What's 1 minus 4? Or 1 minus 5. I just gave the answer away. Negative 4. Would we ever leave it written that way? What is it? Negative 1/2. Everybody cool? Okay. Now do the slope of ST. What is 5 minus 1? 6. What's negative 1 minus 4? 3. What's 6 divided by 3? Positive 2. What's positive 2 really? Positive 2 over 1. Are those negative reciprocals? So what are AB and ST? ST, and the symbol for perpendicular goes in the middle. Is everybody good? All right, let's see. I want to know if those 3 dots will make a right angle triangle. If it's a right angle triangle, it must have one 90-degree corner, yes? Which means 2 of those sides have to meet at 90 degrees, don't they? How many corners are in a triangle? 3. Which means technically I would need to check 3 corners for perpendicular, wouldn't I? But that's stupid, isn't it? Are we stupid? No, we're smart. So what we're going to do is we're going to eliminate some of those points by graphing it. Where does point A live? Negative 3, 1, 2, 3, and up 1. Everyone agree? Where does B live? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2. There's B. Everyone agree? And where does my good friend C live? And now we're going to connect them. It does make a triangle. Now, what is the only possibility for 90 degrees? Right there. So do I need to do anything with line AB? Line AB doesn't help me at all. I got to check which 2 lines, Jashin? I got to check the slope of CB and the slope of CA. And if they are negative reciprocals, it's perpendicular, isn't it? So let's check. What is the slope of CB? That means I got to use these 4 points. What is it? Write it out. You can't get it wrong. Somebody talk to me. Negative 2 minus 4. So that means you've made this guy y2, which makes this guy x2. Okay, what's on the bottom? 6 minus 3. Tidy that up. What's negative 2 minus 4? Negative 6 over 6 minus 3? 3, which means that slope is negative 2. Agreed? Okay. Now let's check the slope of CA. What's that one? Now I need C and A, so I don't care about B. What is it? 1 minus 4 over negative 3 minus 3. What's 1 minus 4? Negative 3 over. What's negative 3 minus 3? Negative 6. Two negatives make a what? 3 over 6 is 1/2. Are those negative reciprocals? Because what's that guy really? Did I flip the fractions? Did I change the sign? So are they perpendicular? If those are perpendicular, is this a right angle triangle? Yep. Triangle ABC is right angle, is a right triangle, because the slope of CB is perpendicular to the slope of CA. Everybody got it? Okay. Turn the page over to 193. How many points do I have? 4, which means when I connect them, how many lines am I going to have? 2. Right? Now, if they are parallel, what do you know about the slope of AB compared to the slope of CD? They would be equal. Which one of those can I tell right now? The green, AB, or the blue, CD? AB, green. Why? Because I got all 4 points. What is it? What's the slope of AB? You want to do 5 minus 10 over what then? 3 minus 7. Now do CD. What's CD? 2 minus A over 0 minus 1. Now what should I do with that mess? Tidy it up. What's 5 minus 10? Negative 5. Over 3 minus 7. Negative 4. Two negatives make a positive. So I can clean that up right there. Yes? Equals. What's 2 minus A? I can't do anything with 2 minus A. What's 0 minus 1? Negative 1. Now what do I do every time I see fraction equals fraction? What's negative 1 times 5? Negative 5. What's 4 times 2? 8. Minus what's 4 times A? 4A. What do I do every time I see something that looks like that? Isolate A. What do I do to that 8? Minus 8, minus 8. Negative 13 equals negative 4A. Yes? Now what? And what does A equal? Negative 13 over negative 4. Two negatives make a? Now, a great many of you would do all that work, get that weird answer, and then think you were wrong. Should you think you were wrong? No, because we did everything right, didn't we? We know how to find slopes. We found them. We know how to cross multiply. We're in the 10th grade. We know how to do grade 8 algebra. We're in the 10th grade. Right? Can you find that point on a graph? A is a y value, isn't it? And doesn't A also equal 3 1/4? Can you find 3 1/4 on the y-axis? 1, 2, 3, 4. Where would 3 1/4 be? Somewhere on that line. Does it exist? So did we do our math right? Sweet. Last thing I'm going to do today, then I'm shutting up. If they're perpendicular, then what happens to CD? the M of AB, if it's perpendicular to CD, what happens to CD? It flips and it changes signs, right? So we already know AB is 5/4, don't we? Right? And we know that CD is supposed to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? Right? And we know that that right now looks like this. 2 minus a over negative 1, correct? That's what we had. But if it's perpendicular, what happens to that? It flips. So where's that negative 1 going? To the numerator. Where's that 2 minus a going? To the denominator. What's happening to that negative 1? It's gone. Now what do? Every time I have fraction equals fraction. Cross multiply. What's 4 times 1? 4. What's 5 times 2? 10 minus. What's 5 times a? What do I do there? Solve it. How do I get rid of that plus 10? What's 4 minus 10? Negative 6 equals negative 5a. What's the last step? Every time. By what kind of 5? Negative 5. If my computer ever thaws, I will do that too. While we're waiting. Oh, there it is. What does a equal? 6 over 5. Which is really 1 1/5. Could you find that on a graph? 1, 2. Where's 1 1/5? Right about there. Everybody got it? Easy peasy, right? Perpendicular, what do? Flip and change the sign. Parallel, what do? Keep them the same and see if they're equal. Easy peasy, right? Okay, you have 26 minutes while I come around and get your score on the quiz from yesterday and your score on the assignment from today to work on page 194 and 195. Now listen to me. I know that you don't believe me. But this stuff is the practice for what your next page says. Okay? If you can do 194 and 195, which have the answers right there, does that mean you're ready for the thing that's going to cost you marks? So should you have a good look at 194 and 195? Yes. Should you tell me on Monday that you had no time? No, because what time is it now? When does school end? 2:30. Look how much work you got done in the 8 minutes I gave you already today when you were forced to work. Now I know that you all want to go see Star Wars 7 times this weekend like I do, which means I'm giving you half an hour now so you have no homework and you can see Star Wars as many times as your parents will buy you tickets for it. I am only buying my kids tickets for it once. I may see it 30 times, but my son makes $60 an hour when he's acting. He can damn well buy his own tickets. He gets paid better than me. Huh? 13?
Mr. Myers